message you're about to hear will position you to live life to the fullest with actionable insights and strategies. Now, Abraham Olushini.
This is just going to be amazing, right? So, I see other people who just join in. I see from Kaduna, Nigeria, you're welcome, Daniel. I see from Kenaland, from Imo State. Wow, this is amazing, right? This is awesome. Welcome, everybody. So let me just do a quick introduction. But again, before I proceed, I'd like to say, if you're using a mobile device, please put in the landscape mode, put on your auto rotator, put in the landscape mode. The reason is so you can see my screen perfectly when I'm sharing screens, right? And again, most importantly, in every of my learning interventions, whether it's I'm training, whether it's a coaching session or a mentoring session like this, or a consulting or teaching session, I always advise that yes, this session is loaded, no doubt, but if you must get the full value from this session, then you need to commit and pay something, right? That payment is what we call attention, paying attention, pay attention. And that will require that you turn down every form of distraction that may be existing around where you are right now. Or some of them could be induced by the environment, so you can create a microclimate where you are. If you have a TV set that is on, you may like to switch it off at this time, get to a secluded place, isolate yourself, make this experience a transformational one you will remember for the next years of your life, and get the full value that this has to offer. I'm very confident in God that you will walk out of this mentoring room when we are done today, and you'll be filled with so much inspiration, courage to take action in the direction of your learning, right? So let me just do a brief introduction. Of course, yes, my name is Abraham, but beyond just my name, what about me? Yes, I'm passionate about three most important things, and this is why I do what I do, and this is the field that sustains me in doing what I do. I'm passionate about young people, and that talks about youth development. And for me, in my journey of over a decade, it has been helping young people gain a sense of 360-degree growth, right? So I know we have men who are established and fulfilled in their financial life. We have men who are doing well in their careers, but it's not just about just doing well in each sector of life, but doing well in all sectors of life. And so I bring on my youth development approach in my interventions on how young people can be built up holistically. That's 360-degree revolution. And in doing that, I found a body of knowledge that can help achieve that purpose. UNICEF calls it life skills based education. So I teach and train young people on my own curated set of life skills that helps them to achieve holistic development. And I dovetail all of these in human development, in teaching, in training, in writing, speaking, and of course mentoring, like we are having, and other forms of human development intervention. As a result, I'm a top expert in the fields of education and youth development space. So if you want to summarize my life, it's easy to do. You can literally summarize my life into a sentence. Yeah, raising young people and molding lives. That is why I'm living. That is my mission on earth. That is why God sent my spirit to the earth. And so that's why I'm opportune to have you joining this evening. And it will be my pleasure to walk you through serving you my mission tonight on this mentoring session. And so when we are done from this session, how will you measure the growth? How will you measure the transformation? It's simple. You would have, gotten more clarity and, of course, a clearer sight to navigate the emotional and the social sectors of life. And this will help you to build towards a thriving marital life. And so it's almost like a 3-in-1: emotional, the social, and the marital life in one. Clarity and clearer sights to navigate it. You can't walk in the dark. You can't accelerate in the dark. Light is needed. That's the goal of this session, right? That's the goal of this session. But before I move into that, a quick about my story. I've not always been, I've not always been this clear about my identity or my manhood, or why I do what I do, right? Prior to the year 2011, all I thought was, well, finish from school. Yes, I was on a first class degree, and I finished. I topped my class. So all I thought was, yeah, get a good job, right? Yeah, get asset and build assets, get married to a beautiful wife, and raise children. And as I always ask in my intervention, what's next? They say die. I mean, that was also what I just thought life was about. And I started having an experience. I'm going to share much about that when I get along. And even prior to that, I've always loved personal development. So I've always loved to develop myself, to grow, to read. So I go for conferences, I come on workshops and webinars, seminars. I buy lots of books. My library is filled with books. So I've always been an advocate of self-help. But along the journey, I still struggled in some areas, right? Apart from the fact that I was bullied in the later part of my high school, suffered low self-esteem at some point as well, and I was very timid and shy. And so I found that I still struggled in some areas. So self-help couldn't help me enough. And you agree sometimes that self-help is not full help. You still need full help. And so I started, coming out of my shell. I couldn't even answer questions at some time, even when I went for conferences and events, because I was not able to. I was very shy. But I found that self-help could not give the full help. And this is why, I thought about, organizing this mentoring session. I never had an opportunity like this, right? Where, beyond the self-help, beyond your personal efforts, you can also have an additional layer to that. And that can help you, in the journey and the scheme of things, can give you more clarity, and it can give you, more mileage you need, right? And eventually, yeah, things started, outcomes. I started getting newer outcomes in my journey. I gradually started getting the victory step by step from low self-esteem. I started raising my head high when I was walking and talking, and I started seeing the, improvement gradually. And all of this was not just self-help alone, right? Mentors had been part of my journey, right? Different, even in my marital life, I had someone who mentored me through. I remember the first time I wanted to go speak to a lady, I went to him and said, "Sir, help me out. What do I say? I don't know how to say what I want to say, but I have something in my heart I want to say to this person." So I've always been a person also helped by other people. And so that is the focus of this, cascading your self-help, getting the external push in order to make more motion. And I want to honor you especially for being here. People think, when a person seeks for help is weak, and so they call it weakness. But that's not the truth. Vulnerability in terms of seeking for support is actually wisdom. It's wisdom when you seek for help. And that's what you're going to get when we are done from this session. Now, let me share my screen. I found something so painful. I call it the paradox of attention. And this is not just something that is a fault of men or young people. This is something pervading the society. And so, as a man, you want to, you're thinking of, oh, I want to live in this city. Oh, and then you are planning, okay, how is the city like? Or you want to take a vacation by the end of this year, and you're already planning, okay, I want to go to this city. Oh, I want this city to be this way. Oh, I want us to do this one. You're already thinking about, okay, where do I want to go to? People spend so much time to book even an apartment they will reside in, not to talk of even when you are going to stay there for a long period of time. You are thinking already, oh, how many bedrooms do we have in there? Is there a master's toilet? Okay, is there a study there? People plan a whole lot of that. They pay so much attention to that. How about this one? Oh, fantastic. I know we have, lovers of vehicles in here, right? I remember, growing up, I had this this brand of a Hyundai vehicle I put up on my wardrobe, and I was just saying, this is my brand car. I want to get this car. Eventually, by the time I got my first car, that brand was not my interest again. So but I had researched about it. Oh, this is the size. This is the width. I mean, I was that articulating what I wanted. Okay, this is the color I want. This is the brand. This is the model of the year. I did all of that. People pay attention to all that. How about this one? Oh, this one is the full culprit of it. People pay attention of where they want to school. Oh, I want to get a graduate study in this. I want a master in this. I want an MBA in this. I want a doctorate. People are planning all of that. Oh, can I get a scholarship for this one? Some people are already planning their graduate study for the next year. People pay so much attention to it, which is not bad. It's not bad. Look at the clothes you are putting on today, for example. You didn't just pick it, by just picking it. You first thought, should I wear this shirt or should I change it to this one? How about should I put on this, this trouser or I use this one? Okay, how about do I need a jacket? Okay, if I need, okay, which bag should I use? Okay, which shoe will match with what I'm putting on? You paid attention to that. However, in our journey of life, we have not paid attention to some other things that are of utmost importance to life. And so people, give it to fate, F-A-T, and they say, well, whatever will be should be. But that's not going to be the case. What will be will not be. What you do will be. And people have resorted to faith, and so, an area of life like that is like what we're exploring today. Emotional life, social life, right? Marital life. People just, well, I'm not ready for that. But you spent 16 years in school. You spent 16 years all through from even when you were a baby till now. Some have spent more than 3 decades all schooling. And then they say, well, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. People say, oh, how about you're not even friends with somebody? You don't even have companions. I'm not thinking about that. Well, is that the case? Even if you're not thinking of it yet, that doesn't stop your preparation. I always share with young men and women, you don't need to wait till a time of life when you need something before you prepare for it. If you do that, it will lead to what I call deficiency. And when you wait till deficiency before planning growth, it's going to be more times double effort of what it will have required. Just like someone who falls sick and they didn't pay all of the measures in place to avoid that. By the time he lands in the hospital, he spends more time. They have to hospitalize him. They have to do all of that because he ignored the sickness, ignored all of the symptoms, and it was too late. This is what I call the paradox of attention. And so as men, we are going away from the societal perceptions and saying, how can we pay attention to other things that will define our manhood? How can we pay attention to the stuffs that actually make life? How can we begin to pay attention to them? That's the crux of our session, right? And to really explain this, I want you to pay attention to this framework I want to share with you. I use this framework in sharing my, the model of life harmony. I have a model for coaching young people on life harmony, and this is, if you get this, I think I'm actually done. In this session, you would have gotten 50% of what this is all about. Now, this is it. Our life is like a circle, and when you look at a circle has different sectors inside of it. And so I know in different schools of thought, some people have talked about work-life balance, life-work balance. And I was reading about that. Someone was saying, is work different from life? Is life different from work? And all of that. I have my perspective to that. But the point I want you to look at is this: your life is the same. I hear some men say, well, I don't want to think about that one. When I'm 40, I'll now think about that. But it's the same life. It's not a different life. Some say when I'm 60, I will now think about that. People have always thought that life is in, disjointed. But no, it's actually in harmony. It's in harmony. Harmony in the sense that different sectors of your life connect to the core, and they are revolving around the core to make meaning out of life. Think about it. So one of those sectors is your spiritual life. And when, as men, when we hear about spiritual life, people always think it's about religion. But that's actually nothing to do with that. Spiritual life talks about the fact that you are a spirit. So, yes, you have 6 packs. Yes, you have this amazing body build. You are handsome and good looking. But that is not you. The you I'm seeing is not you. Your you is actually a spirit. So when God made man, God did actually is to make a spirit, right? So it was in your mother's womb that all of the physical component came in. What God did first is the spirit. And then you came in, and then you started growing in your mother's womb, and then you were born as a baby, and you grew to the man you are today. But the real you has always been a spirit. When God calls someone home, and the person is buried, what happens? The body goes to the ground, but the spirit goes back to God. So God made you as a spirit. Now, what is most important about your spiritual life and this amazing bucket and sector of life is that your spiritual life, demands that you are communicating to the Creator. You are communicating to your source, the one who sent you and made you as a spirit. That is what spiritual life is all about. You are communicating to your source. You are communicating to the one who actually made you as a spirit. That is what spiritual life is all about. And so, it's just like a mobile phone. Yes, you have a great phone, fantastic, but that phone is just a case. That phone is just a case. That phone is just a case. The case cannot do anything. It can't do anything. What makes the case actually very functional is that the case now has what is called a SIM. That SIM in this context is the spirit. So if there was no spirit in your being, oh, that's not going to be a human being actually. Have you looked at it actually? After God made man, he got to a point and God said, God breathed into man the breath of life and man became a living being. So it's actually your spirit that is making you alive. When the spirit leaves the body actually dies. So the spiritual life is about you communicating through your spirit. And so you have that SIM in your mobile phone, and then the SIM is connected to the data center. It's connected to, through all of the telecommunication means, and you can make calls. And when you go to the challenge with most times is that as men, we the society expects these perfect conditions from us, all guys, and they feel no man should be weak, no man, they even say sleep is for the weak. So as a man, you should get everything going, which is not bad. But what makes that going is that your spirit is connected to the source. When I remove the SIM, if the SIM is actually not connected, nothing can happen. So you look at a phone, for example, you look at the number of dials you have made. If you go to the call log, you see, easily when you go to the call log, you can see the person you have been calling frequently. The challenge as men is that we have not been calling our source frequently. So even when it comes to major life decisions, it's just like you're looking for someone's phone in your contacts. I thought I had this phone. I thought I had this number. And then you are searching, but you can't really find it. But if it's someone you call every day, I go to my call log, I don't need to find it too much. I know some numbers I say every day because I've actually speak to them one other day. It's the same way with your spirit, man. Your spirit actually is the inner man that makes you a real man. And so with your spirit, you can actually connect to God. You can get instruction for your family. You can get directions. You can share with your wife, your spouse, or your fiancé and say, oh, babe, God is saying this. Oh, this is where we should go to. I sense in my spirit we should do this. I think we should not do this one. That is the real man, the inner man. Wow, this is amazing. And this sector is actually the sector that actually connects and almost like it governs other sectors. But again, we got going in school, and our parents told us that, hey, well, even unconsciously, when we had not defined all of our maturity as a man like this, we were enrolled in school. It was part of our parents' plan, which is good, and we're grateful to them for it. Some of us have gone through first degree, second degree, third degree, name it. We've been studying, and guess what? Even studying is lifelong endeavor. However, the point is that you get to that point and you ask yourself, why have I been doing what I've been doing? I remember when I was on, my third degree, I was asking myself, it got to a point where I was stuck in my studies. And, even some of my mentors were asking me, what is happening? You're not progressing with your work. One of those days, one of my mentors sat me down, and I really got back thinking myself, okay, why am I actually doing this? Why am I doing this? This sector of life is such that although society is right before the society, but you need to have a stronger meaning to it if you must make the best from it. And then until I actually found a stronger motivation for it before I could, actually make significant progress in the study. This sector of life prepares us for another sector of life, which is actually called career. In actual fact, you are not meant to choose a course of study if you have not found your course of life. Your course of life, your course of study is meant to be in tandem with your course of life. But for a number of men, this was not the case. We just studied whatever we just found, and we were done from school. They told us that, okay, well, you have to get a job, and as a man, because you just have to be a man and look like a man and form like a man and feel like a man, we had to get the job, and then we were paying bills, and people were saying, that's a man. The man takes care of his family. But is that the whole scenario about being a man? So, for some people, this sector of life is not yet a career, it's still only a job. Because there's much difference between a job and a career. And then these two sectors that is so much in tandem with us, focus in this mentoring session. Your emotional life. Your emotional, this sector talks about you being unable to understand. Yes, I'm a man, great, but as a man, I still have emotions. So I can feel sad. I can be happy. I was telling my wife this afternoon, I'm not happy. You know, we went somewhere and we encountered some stuff that caused a whole lot of lack. And I just, so as a man, I can express my emotion. You can express your emotion. However, as a man, you become a stronger man when you find the triggers behind your emotions that are actually not positive. Yeah. As a man, sometimes perhaps you find that, well, I get furious easily. So that means that I need to tame this anger. And so, in the school of emotional intelligence, we begin to talk about the fact that what makes you get angry. So once you understand the trigger, you can be able to, put it in context, control it, and be able to manage it. Before you can now begin to understand the emotion of others. It's first from yourself before others. So as a man, many emotions are going to come around you. You have to manage the emotions of your wife, your spouse. You have to manage the emotion of your children. You have to manage the emotion of colleagues. Wow, it's a whole lot of work. But if you can manage yours first, it helps. It helps. And then easily you can manage that of others. But if you have not managed yours, it's going to be a whole lot of stress, going to be a lot of chaos. And then, as they say today, mental health, it begins to suffer. If you manage your emotions well, then you are able to now begin to build social networks. You are able to build social capital. You are able to network with other people intelligently, right? You are able to, put your biases behind and build quality networks. That's the social life, right? And then these two areas, these two sectors I just talked about right now, can help you to thrive in your marital life, right? So, because in your marriage, you are going to live with your spouse. You're going to, relate to your spouse on the social level. You're going to relate to your spouse on the emotional level. Not to even talk about other people around. If you manage those two areas before now, you'll be able to manage and thrive in this other sector. And so you find that it's not about excelling in one sector. No, I'm doing great in my career, fantastic. Oh, I'm currently on my master's program, fantastic. But it's not just about that sector alone. It's about complete 360 degree. Complete 360 degree. This is most amazing. And this is what life is about. Harmony, alignment. If you notice, no vehicle, if you have a flat tire when you're driving, you can't make significant motion. And so for some people, some sectors of life is giving some undulation in your journey. So you can't really make motion. That sector needs help. And you look critically at this framework this evening and ask yourself, which area am I actually lagging behind? Which sector have I abandoned? Which sector am I not thriving in very well? That's holistic development. That's holistic development. And so I'm going to go to some of the questions we have right now. We take each one after the other. Some of the questions that we've received, and we'll just walk through together. When I need to bring anything on board, I'll bring it, and then I'll just share as we get on with them. Right? So I have a question here. This question talks about what it really means to be a man. And that's the beginning. That's the beginning. What it means to be a man. And for me, I like this so much because, well, it's natural. People think, I hear some people. I remember when I had my first, we had our first son, and so some people were giving me compliments and say, "Oh wow, you are a man. You did it." And you hear society give such funny, compliments. So, over time, the male folks have always thought that, oh, I am the one in charge. I'm the one behind the sex of a being. But you're not. You're not. You know, it's a wrong compliment, actually. It's a wrong compliment. I'm going to show you. I'm going to, as we go on with this, I'm going to use a blend of life coaching and spirituality and walk us through some of these questions that we have to explore. Right? Now, so I need to say this as well, because I know we have different people on the call tonight, and we have different backgrounds, different experiences, different expertise and all of that, and I want to honor you for that. But again, the first point is that everything is your responsibility. Nothing is your fault. So most times in my coaching program, I hear people say, "Oh, Mr. Abraham, you don't know what happened to me when I was growing up. Oh, you don't know I didn't have a father. I know you didn't. My father was present, but he was absent emotionally. I know. I know different people have different experiences, but guess what? I had a story of a man. He struggled all through college. He was in pain all through life, a large part of his life. But you see, I've come to understand that everything is your responsibility. Nothing is your fault. So you were born in a place. There were no people. There was no one to take care of you. Or even your mother was not there. I understand, but it's not your fault. Now going forward in life, everything is going to be your responsibility. Going forward in life, everything now is going to be your responsibility. That's the beginning of this. So, what does it really mean to be a man? What does it really mean to be a man and a man figure? And so, a scripture that comes to mind is the first scripture where the word man was mentioned. And so, if you look at Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, it started, and God was saying, "Let us make man. Let us make man." However, the context of man in that particular verse is not just about the male folks, it's just talking about human beings. So you read some other versions and say, God said, "Let us make human beings. Let us make humans who are much like us." It goes on by saying they will rule over the fish in the sea, over the birds in the sky, they will rule over the livestock, they will rule over the whole earth, and all the animals that move along the ground. So that was it. God just wanted to make human beings. And so he ended by saying, God made humans. God made humans. And then he specified the humans God made. And so it's not about something the society is circumventing. No, it was clear. The humans God made. He made them to be like himself. He made some males, some females, and God blessed them. And he said to them, "Give birth to children." Now, this is the part you need to begin to understand as a man. So, as a man, God said, "Give birth to children, grow in numbers, fill the earth," right? "And rule over it." And so God gave us what to rule over. Society paints the picture that, oh, you have to show to your fiancé and to your wife that, oh, you are the man. And so you have to shout when you're talking. You have to scream at the children. That's what society says. But that's not the rulership God was talking about. God said, rule over. He gave the things to rule over. Fill the earth and rule over it, not over people. Not over people. When we're talking about life skills or leadership, we're trying to explain that leadership is not over people. That's not leadership. So you're not ruling over people. I had one joke or a meme one time, and someone said, what growing up, you can all attest to it as men. Growing up, anytime your father comes into the house, what is the emotion and expression in the house? For me, at some point, when we're growing up, once we hear our dad at the door, everybody runs and just forms everything is perfect. At some point, but gradually we started getting things going that, oh, you're my father, right? We have more mutual affiliations than, it's not a rulership or a bossy thing. A time came, I was sharing with my dad, and I was saying that I was getting to a point of maturity then, and I said, let's talk about this thing. The way you speak with your colleagues and your subordinates in your workplace, that's in the workplace. When you get home, it's like you're speaking to us as your children, like the way you're speaking to them. At first, my dad didn't take it very well. He said, "Why will you say that? It's the same thing." I say, "It's not the same thing, Popsy. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. We are your children. That one is workplace. It's different communication." And gradually light started coming. You see, and so for many of us on this call, whether you are newly married, you're married, or you're a young couple, whichever part of the divide you are in, this is going to prepare us to be the better fathers that perhaps we didn't experience, or the better fathers more than what we actually experienced, right? The better husbands. That is the kind that men the world needs today. And so you can be born a male. And when God did that, it was by his predestination. Oh, I used to think, because science has painted a picture that, oh, they say when the male egg fertilizes this one, the male sperm rather, and then they said this one, XY, and all those fantastic stuff. Well, I'm not talking about science and all that. The part I'm talking about is that whatever sex it is, whatever gender it is, if you and from my experience as a father and a husband, and a coach, I found that most times it's not even about that. It's not even about that. So God decides that I'm sending a male child through this family. God decides that I'm sending a female seed through this family at this time. And so, as a man, you're married and you're newly married. You don't need to feel the pressure, and then they say your parents are telling you, oh, he's a boy we want to. I mean, that sounds ridiculous. But you need to be the man. If you are not enlightened, you also go with the society and you begin to speak in their parlance. He's a girl we want, and be a man now. Why will you do that? That sounds foolish, and it ridicules the genders that God has created. God made them some male, some female. Now watch this. When God made you a male, it was for a reason. It was for a purpose. It was by a choice. It was not by accident. And so you didn't become a male by accident. It was not, I remember one of my mentors, the wife did a scan almost about 4 times or 3 times. They saw a male. I think they saw a male. Eventually, when the child was born, it was a female. So it's not about it's not even science. Science sometimes cannot even comprehend it. But the point is, when God made you a male, it was for a reason. And this reason is not to rule over the other gender as the boss, as the ruler. No, the rulership is over another thing, which I'm going to show as we get on. It's over another thing. And so, you read a scripture also as Genesis 2 verse 18. And this is something vital I need you to look and pay attention to. So God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I'm going to deal much on this in a few moments, but I want you to hold that thought. It is not good for the man, not a man, the man, right? I'm going to come to it. Someone remind me in the chat so that I don't miss that thought. Now, watch this. So, someone sends a question and says, prior to this time, the male finds gratification in his ability, to fend for his family, and then he's seen as, someone who provides for the family and all of that side. But, however, in today's 21st century, there's a substitute, right? Because the woman can provide for the family. The woman can also bring in funds to the family. So, what actually, and he said, what is the major thing that makes him a man in this 21st century? That's fantastic. What makes a man is not even that you are bringing money to the table, because that's also what the society painted to us. Oh, as a man, people misquoted this scripture that says, if a man cannot rule his house, a man who cannot provide for his house, is an infidel and all of that. And so they always feel that, oh, the man should be the one to put the funds on the table. But like this person asked this question in 21st century, it's a blend. So it's not about you and your spouse define and decide how you want to run the home. So the manhood is not about who brings the fund or who. Use your choice. You can decide that, oh, my babe, my wife, don't bring anything. Save your own. Let this one go to this one. It's your choice how you want to decide to run it. It's your choice, which is something you're going to discuss during your courtship. It's your choice, right? But if there's no societal pressure that as a man, oh, you have to be. No, if you actually, that is why you need the right kind of education. Because people have paid attention. I was telling someone some time back that you spent 20 years in school and now you want to spend 3 months and you call it counseling to prepare for a lifetime journey. Is that not a paradox? That's I'm concerned about that. And so we want a new generation of men who are not sidelining to a time of life. And I hear this every time. I was talking to a guy on IT. I said, oh, you need to start thinking about this. Are you preparing for, your marital home and all that? And he said, sir, it's still far. I'm not thinking. I mean, that is not wisdom. You are preparing for a job you will do or a work you do for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. But this you prepare for a lifetime. You have not even started preparation. And you think a 3 months journey will just prepare you for it. That's strange. And so you need the right kind of education. And this education is not just going to come from you. If it must work together, you and your partner must have the education together. I remember a time I went to a bookstore. I bought some books. What about 30,000, 24,000 thereabout naira. I was picking them in twos, right? One for myself, one for my spouse. We're in courtship. because I wanted us to have the same mindset. What brings friction in the home? Yes, you grew separately as individuals with separate backgrounds, separate upbringing. Suddenly you think you will come together and everything will click. No, you need to now form a new mindset, and both of you must be teachable so that you don't bring in your mindset. Oh, this is not how we do it in my home. Oh, it's the man that sweeps. Oh, it's the woman that cooks. I used to have that mindset before. I was telling to one guy during my master's program that, my wife will sweep, my wife, and then the guy just shut me down. Abraham, don't say that. And I thought I never knew what I was saying before. And he said, no, it's not that way. It's not that way. In the 21st century, a woman does not have to be what God said. I was sharing with the women yesterday. God said a woman who will be help meet. The help God was talking about is not a woman who will sweep the house or cook for you. Anybody can do that. You can choose and decide. That's part of the thing you discuss during your courtship. How do we want to, you get to that chapter, there's this book I recommend for anybody who needs that. Just send me a DM on WhatsApp. You have about 31 topics you discuss during your courtship. So you get to this chapter that talks about, how do we run our home management? Talking about house cleaning, talking about food for the family. So you both can decide and talk about it. Oh, well, you come back at 7 p.m. Oh, you come back at 9 p.m. How do we run this? Okay, but what time? Okay, do we do this? You decide it mutually. There is no stereotype or a societal label on who does it. No. And so your manhood is not even in the fun you bring to the table, is in the leadership you provide. So God made the whole human race after a kind. So he said, let us make man after a kind, after our kind. And so your manhood is after a kind. It's a nature. It's not about strength. It's not about muscle. It's about leadership. It's about foresighting. It's about direction. Sometimes we want to do some things at home, and my wife is asking me, okay, so what do we do? So the women are waiting for your leadership, waiting earnestly for your leadership, and then you're not sure what to do. You are that is the onus on you. The leadership of the home, the leadership of your ship. Once you get into a marital relationship, you are now in another ship. I did an extensive study on that, in one of my books, Fellows in a Ship. And so you move from courtship, you move from friendship first into courtship. After courtship, you move into this aspect of life where you now be in the marital relationship, and all you need in that ship now is to give the direction, give the leadership. So the woman is a helper. The woman is going to complement, but the woman needs something to complement. The woman needs a direction to complement. Come to think of it, and I was sharing with the women yesterday. So men are searching, and as a man, perhaps if you're not married, you are searching. And that is your onus is on you to search. A man will leave his father's house and cleave to his wife. Now, look at it. When you look at that word, there's a difference between leave and cleave. Leave and cleave. The simple difference is just a letter C. You leave and you cleave. You leave and you cleave. So C talks about many things. C talks about connect. C talks about commit. I wrote in one of my books, love is a commitment. Some people say love is blind. Love sees, love is not blind. If he's blind, that person didn't open their eyes. He's not blind. It sees. Love sees. Love is intentional. Love is commitment. So when you are giving that vow, you are saying, I commit my life to you. That's love. Love is not blind. It is seeing. Right? And so you find that as a man, you are saying that, oh, I want to cleave. You're saying, what you are literally saying is that I want to commit. I want to connect, right? I want to cover this woman. I want to compliment her. So it's not about you lording it over her, lording it over the family. Don't, someone said something one time that when you hear a man say, don't you know I'm the man? Then he's not the man. Because you don't need to say that for you to prove your leadership. Don't you know I'm the man in this house? Then you are not the man. Because it's not by saying it, it's by showing it. Leadership, leadership is someone, one of the definitions we give about leadership is that someone who walks the talk, he shows the way and he goes the way. So I'm not just saying, so if I say, oh well, can we start this, at home? Can we run this? I'm not just going to say it as an instruction, bam, and then everybody obey the last order. No, I'm going to say fine, but I'm going to go the way. People will see me. I'm giving the model. So children are looking at the model of the father, right? They are looking. Other people around are looking at the model. They are looking at the example you're giving. So I'm going to go the way. I'm going to show the way. I'm going to walk the way. That is leadership. That is leadership. You tell your fiancé, can we read this book? And you have not read it. That's not leadership. And then you come and say, oh, I read in chapter 5, page 19. Can you check that chapter? And she opens there too. One of the things I caught in that verse, in that page is that, and then that is leadership. Because of that, she's compared. Wow, this guy is actually reading this book. Maybe she was even the one that gave you the book. And then she just let me see whether this guy will even read this book. But she gave you, and if you are a leader, you are going to walk the talk. You read the book whereby you read it to a point whereby you are now giving her direction. She's now seeing new lights she never saw before. That is leadership. That is leadership. And so a similar part to manhood is understanding my sexuality. Is my sexuality just about the fact that I have a penis? Is that all to my sexuality? And why am I that? Why do I have that? I need to understand my sexuality. Like I said, everything is for a purpose. So when God said, "Rule over the fish, rule over all of the animals, rule over this, rule over that," and He said, "Dominate, have children." What He did is that He gave you the tool to do it. And so that is where the sexuality comes in. And so for the woman, God created her to be an incubator, to be a womb man. And so she has a womb. She's given that ability to nurture, right? But you as a man, God gave you the right tools in line with the purpose of your sexuality. So you didn't need to pray about it. All of the tools needed for your sexuality was part of your being. However, growing up as a teenager, I found that we were not taught this thing well. So we missed it at some point. And this is the point. And so God gave you these tools. Let me use that word in quotes. You begin to have a cracked voice, as they say in puberty, right? And then people begin to hear you. Hello there, who is in this room, right? They begin to hear all of those fantastic stuff. The female begin to get attracted to you, right? They want to come and take cover. They want to just stay near you. They want to put their heads on your shoulder, right? And all of that begins to happen. You see your chest is growing. You see your manhood in quote, as they say, the pen is growing. Everything is growing. You are having urges, right? And all of that. You are having likeness towards the opposite sex. That is biological and that is normal. If it's not happening, there's something is wrong biologically. It should happen. However, the part we missed most times and we were not taught is that, oh, these things are growing because they are growing for a time when I will need them to fulfill the purpose God put them there. Oh, fantastic. We never knew. We just thought, this thing is my own. It's not your own. No, it's not your own. God put it there to fulfill a purpose. And so you were made a man, a male child, because of a reason. So you have all those abilities. So for example, you seem to have more strength in your body build because God wanted you to rule over the earth. So rule over the animals. So it's not about. Have you had some people say, have you had some people give this balance? They say, it's an abusive balance, but I'm just using to illustrate something. They say, are you a goat? What they are literally saying there is that the way this man is behaving is like a goat. But as a man, you are meant to be, a human being. A human being is a class of creation God made, and they are higher than animals. And so, as a human being in that higher class, you don't eat people, you don't fight women, you don't slap women, right? I was in church some months back, and a man and a woman, I can't even remember who slapped first, maybe there was a woman. There was just a bit of argument. Suddenly, boom, a slap comes in. The next one brings the slap. And people say, oh, it was the way, it was what he said. No, it was not what he said. It was not what he said. There's no, just like someone telling you that, you are bad, you are mad, you are stupid. Will you start fighting the person? You just be wondering, you just be quiet. What's happening? I was on the public transport many years ago. And this woman, I was actually dressed corporately, and this woman just looked at me and said, I just entered it, and she said, look at them. They be forming as if they are responsible, stupid men. She just kept saying, I was wondering. I knew something was wrong with this woman, but I never said anything. Till I left that vehicle, I never said a word. And so someone would say, oh, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you return it back? Why didn't you know? It's from within. The capacity to raise a hand is not there. The capacity to slap is not there, because that is not your makeup. You are not an animal. You are at a higher class. God said, have domain, have rulership over the animals. So why will I live and act like an animal when I'm not an animal? Why? I'm at a higher class of humans. When you look at the word humans, it talks about being humane, it talks about humanity, it talks about care, it talks about superior intelligence, it talks about articulate, it talks about someone who is reasonable. So if you are that class, why will you bring yourself low? And so people they behave in a way, and people say, oh, she's a goat, he's a goat. It's the behavior. Wow. But God made you at that class of being so that you can exercise dominion over the lower ones. This is amazing. Let me know if this has been amazing so far for you. Right? Another question that comes in here is that what do I do with my manhood? You know, so do I oppress people? Do I oppress girls? Do I do I do I just what do I do with my manhood? Right? What do I do with it? What do I do with it? Right? A scripture that comes to mind is a scripture in Songs of Solomon 8 verse 4. It says, "Do not arouse love until it is ready." Do not arouse love until it's ready. So as a man, like I was sharing earlier on, those the tools God gave you, your biological giftings as a sexual male figure, they start to grow. And because of that, you begin to experience what they can likely do. However, their growth is not for you to fiddle with. Their growth is not for you to misuse. Misuse is simply someone making an abnormal use of a thing, right? Their growth is to prepare you for a time when they will be in use. And so, even if they are growing, doesn't mean you tell a girl, oh, let's be together, let's come together. No, they are growing, but the growth is for a time. The growth is for a time, right? So for example, a typical example is that I don't need to tell a girl I like her. There's no need for that. Although I like her, but there's no need. Okay, what purpose would that give if I tell a girl I like her? You don't need to arouse love until it is ready. Even when it is ready, it is not like that I need to say, because the equation is more than like. So even when I'm ready, I'm not just going to say I like, because that is not the only equation needed. When the time is ready, it's not just the likes. I have a book called Valleys of a Father, and one of the things I did in that book was that research showed that many, many ills in the society today was traceable to the fact that fathers were absent in the lives of those children. The ills the results show that for some the dad was there physically, but he was absent emotionally. He was not prepared enough. And so all of the time where your growth is happening and all of those things are happening is just for you to begin to develop yourself. Prepare for that time when they will be needed. Prepare for it, right? Prepare for it. So now a time comes where in the equation of things, you now begin to understand your manhood beyond just the biological. And this is the part I wanted to get on now. And so how do I know where I'm heading to in life? Why you need this is important. Genesis 2:18. A man shall leave his father's house and cleave to his wife. Now, the person you are looking for is not a girl. What other word do people use now? It's not just a baby. It's a wife. So most times you hear people talk about wife material and all of that, as slangs and all. But I think they're actually right, because that scripture says a man shall cleave to his wife. So it is not even the solemnization that makes the woman a wife. The woman is already a wife before the solemnization. And so you are looking for a wife. The women from yesterday's session, they are already preparing themselves as wives. So you are now looking for a wife. However, if you are unmarried and you're looking for a wife will not just come because you have just found somebody you like. Major bulk of your search is that number one, you have found direction. Remember, your manhood is leadership. You have found direction. And when you actually find a wife, you are also now carrying that wife on the journey of the direction you have found. And so, this is a very vital aspect of your manhood, defining where you are heading to in life. Your parents won't do that for you. Even your father won't tell you where you should head to. I mean, is we are just left. We are left to just find your means and just help yourself. So people begin, as men, we begin to think of things like, okay, why am I on earth? What is my purpose and all of that? Okay, what do I do? How do I know? Because the reason is this. I'm going to show you something. Let me share my screen and just show you something. Why this is very important is this. Your spouse is going to be someone along the journey of where you are headed to. And so you need to also know where you're going to first as a man. So look at this, for example. There's this word called destination. It's a simple word, destination. And destination talks about the fact that where you are going to. Where am I headed to as a man? But again, from this word, you see another root word called destiny. And what it simply means is that every man, every human has a destiny. Some people say, well, Mr. Abraham, oh, are you saying, can't you just enjoy the journey? I hear people say, enjoy the journey, don't worry about the destination. But that's not a balanced truth. You can enjoy the journey. You only enjoy the journey when you have the view of the destination. You may not know fully all the full picture of the destination. Nobody will have a full picture of the destination, but you need a glimpse to get started. I've never seen a man before who gets to the steering and say, where are you going to? He said, I just want to spend 4 hours in traffic. I just want to drive. Have you seen anybody like that? I've not. I just want to enter this traffic. I land this traffic in VI. I just want to enter it for 1 hour. Let me just feed the traffic. I'm tired of the house. Have you seen anybody like that? I've not. Even the shortest of distance has a destination. Oh, I want to get to the salon. Oh, I want to get to the mall. Even the shortest of distance has a destination. How much more life? How much more life? So even if you are to enjoy the journey, sometimes you are traveling to a farther destination. You are traveling on a long distance, but you are enjoying the trip. 2 hours into the flight, you are enjoying it. 3 hours on the road trip, you are enjoying it because you have a destination in mind. That's when you can enjoy the journey. And so if you look at this image, for example, we have two people here. These two people are moving. This guy on the hamster wheel is moving. This other person trying to cross the hurdle is moving. However, both of them are both on races, right? But they're not moving at the same, they don't have the same destination. One actually does not have a destination, the other has. And because of the destination is so compelling that even when hurdles come, as man, he crosses the hurdle because of the destination. One is just going around in cycle. Physics calls it oscillation, just going around the same, axis, just going about the same axis. No motion, no progressive motion. He's sweating. People are saying, you are the man. He's sweating. He's paying the bills, but he's not going to any destination. He's not mission driven. He's a male guy. He's doing very well. He puts on starched clothing. Everything goes well. Shoe is pointed. Everything palm. It smells good, but he's not going anywhere. There's no destination, right? So although both of them are in races, the only difference is that one has a destination, the other does not. And so life is a journey. So I can't just be driving aimlessly. Oh, let's just enjoy this life. Make we groove. Let's just go here. You're going to enjoy it, no doubt. But you will enjoy it much more when there's a destination in view. And so the whole point about destination, the whole point about where I'm headed to is all about where am I going to? Where am I going to? Now, why you need to understand this is simple. It's a journey. There's a difference between sojourn and journey. Watch this. Sojourn and journey. A sojourn is temporary, a temporary, abode, or a temporary journey. Just a temporary stay somewhere. Some people say, well, Mr. Abraham, currently at the moment, I'm just in a job where I'm just trying to, just it's a field that I'm just trying to study things. It's not really my destination, but no problem. That is good. It's good you have recognized it as a season. Soon that season will be over. Fantastic. So you're on the right path because you have recognized that. Some people say, well, you say, I've not actually left. I'm actually even squatting now. I understand. No problem. Well, Mr. Abraham, I don't even have any woman in my life. I understand, no problem. They don't even answer me, no problem. I understand. It's a sojourn, right? It's temporary. It's not going to be for long. What you should focus more on is the journey. As a man, what you should focus on is in the journey. The reason is you're going to find even the women and other people that will come along on your life's journey as you get along on your own journey. As you get along on your own journey, you're going to find them. But to explain this really, this context of destination, I cannot explain it outside of this. Look at this image, for example. So I showed earlier on that bucket of life, that sector of life you call your spiritual life, is that sector that governs your existence on earth. So when you are called home, your spirit goes back. And so it is your spirit that helps you to communicate. When you remove the SIM card from the phone, it's just a case. Nothing special about it. You can't even connect to the internet because the internet is connected to your mobile data. Everything is connected to the SIM. Every significant thing is connected to the SIM. So I hear men saying, oh, well, Dr. Abraham, I want to begin to understand, where am I headed to? If you want to master where you're headed to, it's a spirit thing. It's not a body thing. It's not about the head. Your senses can't tell you that. So I used to say this, that you grow from your senses to your essence. So my sense got me first class. I mean, all you need to just do is read that bit and just write your exam, do your work. That senses, and all of the five senses. But your sense gets limited at some time. And I remember this day vividly, just like today. And we're in the final year, and they were just going to a class. And one of my classmates said to me, we're just walking down the lobby. We're just going into this class for a lecture. And he said to me, Abraham, is there more to your life than this? Is there more to your life? I mean, and for a second, I was started that. What do you mean, is there more to my life than this? When he was talking about the fact that beyond is our course of study, is there more to your life than this? And I was just startled. Nobody has ever asked me that kind of question before, so I never knew an answer to give it. And I suddenly became confused, and I felt bad. I couldn't give an answer to him. As smart as I am, why can I answer this question? For the rest of the day, I couldn't really do so much. I just locked myself in the room, went to the hostel, and I was just on my own because I felt so bad. I felt really bad. And it dawned on me that if there's a question you can answer by your senses, who else will be able to answer the question? It's a spirit that can answer. It's through your spirit you can get the answer. And before that time, I started a relationship with God. The reason why before you can actually, find where you are headed to in life, you need to have a relationship with your spirit to your creator. So the whole context of spirituality is not about a pious look or a denominational approach. It's about the fact that you are communicating through your spirit to God. So this session, God gave it to my spirit as a burden, and I put it up as urgent as it is. Abraham, 10, 20 people need to get this. Push this out. It's my spirit that told me, right? And then from there, I conceived it in my soul, pictured it out, programmed it, perfected it, and then it became executed as a program, right? But it came from my spirit. The other day, 2 weeks ago, I was just up in the morning, and I just got this impression. I was breathing on some things at that time, and God was saying to me through my spirit that I will not leave you without teachers. First, what do you mean by that? And then suddenly, a picture of a book jumped up in my imagination, and it dawned on me that God wanted me to read a book. So I quickly searched my library for the book. I checked my home library, office library. I found it. I eventually found it, and then I read the book again. God just wanted me to learn from that teacher. He said, "I will not leave you without a teacher." And the title of a book just jumped to my imagination, and then I went for it. Wow. You can't get that in the body. The body only takes instruction from the soul takes instruction from the spirit. And so, as a man, your leadership is bulk in your spiritual connection. I like the way one of my role models puts it. He said leadership is a spirit. It's ignited by a spirit. It has nothing to do with height or weight or complexity or how tall or short you are. No, it's not about that. It is leadership, and it's a spiritual connection. And you start that connection. So for some people, perhaps on this call, you may not even need to bother much about even finding where you're headed to here. You just need to start a relationship with your spirit, back to your creator. You just need to nurse that relationship. What God wants from you as a man is a relationship. He didn't just create you so that you can just be on your own. As a man, we always feel, oh, okay, I can ask this person to help me. But you have someone you can ask for help. You can ask him for help. He is always there. Even when Jesus went to be with God, he said, I'm going to send a comforter who will teach you, who will guide you. So you can always ask the Holy Spirit to give you all of these details as a man. So you don't have to do everything by yourself. All you see, all you say, all you hear, all you do as a man is only received. I've not, I've not done anything. Everything I have is just everything I've received. So I'm just a vessel. You are just a vessel as a man. You are a vessel for your workplace. You are a vessel for your home front. You are a vessel for the society. You are a vessel for the nation. You are a vessel for the world. But if you must be a vessel, you need to have a connection. Else, vessels are just simply human bodies, human figures, human representatives that are connected. So things flow through them. But if you're not connected, nothing can flow through you. So you just need to spend more time in your connection with God, right? Build that relationship some more in lots of studies in His Word, in lots of praying. Just be as vulnerable and ask Him things. And so what I did after I went back to my hostel was that, yes, I knew I started a walk with God. Yes, I knew, my spirit was connected, but I didn't know where I was headed to. That was a bulk area of my journey I never knew as a man. And I saw a similar man that had that similar situation as well. This man, his situation was just like that. His name is called Saul. He was Saul, and from Saul he became Paul. But it was not just about the rhythm in his name change, but it was the fact that he actually got to know where he was headed. So his name was now a new identity of where he was headed to. So I saw in Acts chapter 9, verse 6, a man who was just living like what every other man should live like. Yes, he was paying the bills. They were giving him money every time he goes to persecute. They will pay him. They will send a alert to his account against the payment that has entered. He sees they give him all of that. He had insurance, he had mortgage, he had pension, he had all of those benefits. So that was how he was living his life. And he thought, well, I'm doing well as a man. But they came just like this session. And this guy was just going again to what he was always doing as a man. God said, hey, bro, come, what are you doing? Why have you been doing all of this? Wake up, be a man, grow up to a man. It's not about your height or your complexity or that all of that. What makes you a man is your leadership. Why have you been persecuting me? Acts chapter 9, verse 6. And this guy said, whoa, I didn't know. I didn't know. Now he asked the question, which was the same narrative I used. He said, Lord, what will you have me do? Lord, what will you have me do? That was a simple thing he said. That was a simple thing he said. And then if you read the later part of that verse, he went into the city, met Ananias, and then he was told him what he would do. Eventually, he got his destination. You are headed to preach to the Gentiles. And all of that in between. Eventually, he became a leader, someone who we can say he didn't start early, but he finished so strong. And so I went to God. I spent 3 days, and I was saying April 10, 11, and 12. Where am I heading to? And I used that same narrative Saul used, which changed him to Paul. What will you have me do? What will you have me do? Well, that was my earnest expectation. Because I was so concerned that I couldn't answer my friend when he asked me that question. And then, God said to me on the third day, I got that conviction in my spirit. You see, that's why your spirit must be activated. Just like someone sending you an SMS. The SMS comes to your SIM card. It comes to your sim and you receive it. And God said, I'm sending it to young people. He's still in their heart of fear of God. Teach them my ways. Bring them to my knowledge. Establish my word in their lives. Be development centers across the world. That came in my spirit. And that even gave mission to all my other areas of life. And like I shared with you the other time, all those other sectors of life, guess what is happening to them? They are only revolving around the core. The core is your essence. The core is your essence. So your spiritual life is revolving around your purpose. Your marital life, your career, your academics, everything is revolving around that core. So that is why that core is very important. That is very important. And so I used to say that I have two birthdays. I was born June 1st. So last month was my birthday, was my birth month. But April 12th gave more meaning to why I was born, to when I was born. And so every year I give God praise for these two most important days in my life. April 12th, I found why I was born. June 4th, I was born biologically. So I see some people, every day, and when they are celebrating their birthday, yeah, they put it on with their status, plus one today, on the third floor, on the fourth floor, I'm 21, I'm 30, I'm 40, and they put all of that fantastic, which is good. But as a man, where have you been heading to? Your birthday becomes much more very important when you really know why, where you are heading to. And there's this thing I started seeing recently. People put up, when people celebrate them, they begin to put a screenshot of everything everybody's saying, putting it up and sharing it, which is, well, it's not bad, but I just feel as a man, focus on where you are heading to. You can't even, when you do that, you can't even quantify the impact of your life. And so, how many of that do you want to screenshot? How many of that do you want to do? I mean, okay, is there an impression so that people will see that people are celebrating you? I hear some humorous stories that some people are planning their birthday a year before the birthday, 3 months before the birthday. And what are they planning? Cake, what to eat, what to drink. That's not birthday. I did a worksheet on how you can actually, I call it a birthday reflection worksheet. What do you do on a birthday? You reflect on how have I gone on where I'm heading to. Where am I now? Where should I be? Lord, as a man, what will you have me do? In this new year, in this new dispensation I'm going into, what should I do and focus on? That is the focus of the birth and the reflection of the birthday. As you give thanks to God for how far He has brought you. That's amazing, right? Now, let me go to this next section. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. So this other question talks about that. How do you now begin to delineate purpose and ambition? And that's just in line with what I just shared. Purpose and ambition is simple. One of my friends shared with me a story that it was all about ambition for many years. It was actually even in the university up until the second year, and it dawned on him that has been just ambition. He had to withdraw and rewrite this entrance exam and choose a course in line with what he felt was his direction. Because at that time it was just ambition. It's simple. Ambition is just about self. If everything you have thought about yourself as a man is about me, my family, my children, then that's ambition. Purpose is beyond you. Your life can't be the purpose of itself, right? A chair does not sit on itself. A tree does not eat of its fruit. So, although you're going to be a vessel, you're going to be blessed, you're going to be rewarded from what you are sent to do. But your life can't be the purpose of itself. And so it's always about others. That is the acid test of your destination, your true north. It's always about others. Always about others. Right? I'm going to jump into the next question now. How do I maintain focus in a distracted world? I mean, this one is a big one because we live in a distracted world, especially in this generation as men. This generation is more distracted than ever before. More distracted. But you see, again, I found an antidote to this. As a man, you can't afford to live a rough life because you don't have a spare life. So you can't afford to do what every other man is doing. You can't afford to tweet what every other man is tweeting. You can't afford to sing what every other man is singing. You can't afford to go where every other man is going to. You can't afford it. You have one life. There's no spare. It's just like you're driving and you don't have a spare tire. You are just cautious of where to, you don't fall on this. You are cautious you don't step on this because you don't have a spare life. You don't have a spare life. You don't have a spare life. And the antidote of maintaining focus is that you have a compelling destination. It's as simple as that. Yes, you'll be distracted at some times because, if you're driving, for example, as a driver, sometimes I'm looking at this billboard. There's this telecommunication company. I just put up a brand new billboard, big, fantastic LED billboard, and it's attracted. Every driver is attracted to it. But guess what? Even as a driver, can you spend 60 seconds looking at a billboard and you are driving? It's not possible. That's going to lead to an accident. Even if you're going to look, it's just a few, 3, 4 seconds back on your destination. So most times people get so distracted because there was no compelling destination in the first place. And so suddenly they see a billboard and they are looking at it, staring at it, and they're discussing at it, and it takes them away off course because there was no destination in the first place. It was not compelling enough. So even when you veer off and you're distracted, your destination pulls you back. Your destination is like a magnet. So everywhere around me, I have my vision boards. I have mentors to keep me accountable. So even when I get distracted, I'm pulled back. I can't leave a rough. I'm pulled back. Yes, we live in a distracted world. So unknowing to me, I'm scrolling the feed. Before I know it, you are spending minutes. Before you know it, it's an hour. You are just scrolling. Let me just check this one. After this one, I will stop. Before you know it, you have spent 1 hour. So how can you keep yourself accountable? How can you keep yourself focused? Accountability will play a part a long way as well. Get accountability partners as well, right? And much more than that, define your compelling destination. Let everybody know around you what's it. Some people say to me and say, oh, I remember one time I was in college. I was always yelling out to colleagues around me, build capacity, guys, build capacity. And so it got to a point they were calling me Mr. Capacity, Mr. Capacity, because I've always been a lover of capacity building, and that is what you need if you must live a focused life. You also need to let people know where you're actually heading to. So, what if people are to summarize your life in a sentence? What would they say? They don't know because you've not painted it to them. You've not painted it to them, right? We had a story one time. A child was asked in school, "What does your father do?" And then the child just said something funny, and when he got home, because that's always what he has always seen daddy do. That is always what daddy does. So he painted to them that, and daddy said, "Oh no, that's not what I do. They're asking you what is my occupation and all of that." You see, because you have not painted it enough to people, they don't know. So your life should be summarized in a sentence. Be that focused. Distraction will be limited that way. Even when it comes, it pulls you back. You are able to be pulled back by your destination. And so something similar to that question is, how do you break the inertia and overcome fears? So as a man, several fears come to us. Fear of, will I be able to keep a home? Will I be able to fend for my family? Will I be able to give the leadership I require that my home requires? Will I be able to be a role model to my children? Will I be able to do all of that? They're all fears. They're all fears. How do you break inertia? So I found this, that inertia is about the fact that inertia talks about doing nothing. Physics paints it this way, that a state of rest. Nothing is being done. It's just like a car that is stranded. And to break that inertia, you need an external force. So, for example, you have a battery issue with your car. The car can't move. And so you need external force. Either someone jump starts for you, and then you see some men pushing the car. I mean, you wonder that, just this vehicle, and this vehicle needs 3, 4 people to push it. It needs an external force. That is why I'm actually celebrating everyone who is here, because this is an external force to push and break the inertia. You can't push yourself. Imagine you are on the driver's seat, the car can't move, and you're trying to move it yourself. You are pushing, nothing will happen. You need an external force, and then they push it through, and then boom, it gets ongoing. They jump start for you, it gets ongoing. It's an external force. External force. So the external force, it is the propelling force that breaks the inertia and keeps you in motion. Right? I remember when I met my wife at a seminar, and over time before then, I've always just been, like I shared earlier on, one of my personal values was and is still personal development. Knowledge, yearning for knowledge. And I just saw this event was outside of my state where I was. But I said to one of my colleagues, can we travel together for this event? So we traveled down. And I went to learn. Hope you know. I mean, guys, I went to learn. That has always been my attitude. I went to learn. But of course, on learning, I saw this person walked in out of the room 3 times. Walked in the first time, passed where I was sitting, went back to a seat, passed again the second time, went back to a seat, passed again. So that was my first sight of seeing that. But of course, that was not just about it, because I never that never led to anything until 4 years afterwards. I'm going to share that detail much more. There's a question someone asked in line with that. But the point I'm sharing from that is that a force propelled me. It was not convenient for me to travel down out of my city, but a force propelled me to break inertia. Other people say, well, it's far, I can't go. I don't have data to come on the mentoring session. Oh, I don't have this. I'm in transit. I'm in this. I just got back from my workplace. But a force pushed you into this place. That force was what pushed me into that event. That force, imagine I was not there that day. That force pushed me. So most times, God has positioned some things for you as a man. You must be sensitive through your spirit. Remember, your communication, your sin is your spirit. So you must be sensitive as a man. You must be sensitive as a man. The force is going to push you. So personal development pushed me. So what is going to push you through out of the inertia? So what you do is this, write this down. What is the fear you're having currently now? Write the fears down. Write the fear down. Oh, fear of this, fear of that, fear of failure. What if I start this as a man? You don't want people to say, I thought you were a man. You started this and 3 weeks you have stopped. Fear of failure. Or is that an imposter syndrome? You just feel you're not good enough as a man. Oh, can I do it? What will people say if it doesn't work? Right? Fear of what people will say. Whatever is the fear, write it down. Now, what you do next is that ask yourself, what external force do I need to push me out of this inertia? This fear, what the fear is doing is, the fear is simply imaginary, it's not real. So the fear is just keeping you down on the spot. I did a coaching session last month, and I was just explaining something around this. It's just like when you want to change the tire of a vehicle, you put a wedge behind the tires, behind the other tires, apart from the one you're changing, so that it doesn't move when you are turning the spanner and all of that. And so you find out that if you want to actually, when you are done fixing the new tire, all you just need to do is remove the wedge and you are just in motion. And so that is almost the same with the fear you're having right now. You just need to remove it and replace it. And so remove the wedge, remove the fear, and ask yourself, what external force do I now need? Fear of failure. Replace it. Oh, well, I said to someone one time about this fear of failure. Well, just give your current best. Give your current best. Give your current best. The world needs my current best as a man. And so I came, oh, well, Abraham, you need to start this and do this. Well, I'm not the best yet, but I'm giving my current best. For those who experienced me last year, what you experienced was my last year's version. This year, I'm giving my current best. When you experience me next year, you're not going to experience the same and have the same experience. You're going to have my current best. So that has helped me to walk away from the fear of failure, fear of imposter syndrome, and all of that. I give my current best, and I know that my current best will always evolve. So look for an external force, replace it with another value that will break that inertia. Inertia does not respect look or six-pack or body build. It respects force. Force. This force is not a physical exertion. This force is about a mindset. It's about a value that will push and break the inertia off the path. This is amazing. Now, when this happens, someone says, sometimes I get easily discouraged. How do I maintain consistency? Fantastic. This is in line with what we just shared earlier on. When this happens, what happens next is that because you have now broken the inertia, you are now in motion. So when you're driving, you don't remain on 10 kilometers per hour. You are increasing the motion. You get to 20, you get to 30, you get to 35. Based on the speed limit you have at the area you're driving, you're moving. You don't remain you keep moving. So to sustain momentum, you need to increase your velocity. Now, in this context, what do I mean? So you don't get discouraged. Now, discouragement, not just like that picture I showed, the barriers are going to come. Barriers are going to come. But you look at the destination. Let the destination be compelling. Why are you doing what you are doing? When barriers come, remind yourself why you are doing it. Why did you start this project? Why did you start this book? Why did you start this association? Why did you get this job? So, one day the boss is going to talk to you rudely. And as a man, your ego is hot. You feel so bad. How can someone talk to me like this? Even perhaps when you get home, people are not even helping you enough. Your ego is bruised. But guess what? Remind yourself of your leadership. This is where I'm going to, right? And encourage yourself. Pick yourself up. Pick yourself up. Remind yourself why you're in that job in the first place. Remind yourself why you are there in the first place. That will restore your dignity, so to say. Right? So you need to increase your velocity, increase the motion, increase what you're doing, keep at it. Don't stop. The thing about consistency is that if you stop, then when you start again, you have to start afresh. But when you start building, it's like what they call compound effect. It keeps building over, and multiplying. Consistency. Someone said to me at one of my birthdays, put up a post on social media and said, "Thank you for your consistency." Consistency is not something about, other men are not doing it. Other men are doing this. You focus on your leadership. Focus on your leadership, right? The reason why you need to focus on your leadership is that, and focus on where you are going into is that, with your personal value is that, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. That is simple. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So as a man, define the things you want to stand with. And this is simple. I'm going to join this to the next question that comes in now. Someone says, how do I locate a God-fearing yet beautiful lady to marry? Knowing that, almost all ladies now go after money. So I'm going to join my response shortly with that now, what I'm sharing. How do I locate a God-fearing, beautiful lady? Fantastic. I mean, who doesn't want a beautiful lady? If you're not married, who doesn't want a beautiful lady? Who doesn't want? Fantastic. But before then, I want to share this. Before I share on that, watch this. So, as a man, this question is in line with another question. Let me look for it. Someone was saying something about the fact that there's this question that says, how do you discipline? How do you stay disciplined with your work and ladies? So let me join. The responses are similar. How do you stay disciplined with your work and ladies? So this guy said, ladies come around me, they want to talk with me, they are chatting with me, and then I get distracted easily. It's simple. Let's go back to the soft copy. That's where the solution comes from, right? If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. So before they come, or after this session, they're going to come again. But define what you're standing for already before then. So I call them values, personal values. It's as simple as that. Now, personal values are in different levels. The first level of personal values you need is what I call the basics. The basics. So a scripture like Galatians chapter 5 verse 22 talks about the basic values you should have as a man. Love, joy, peace, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. Some people think marriage is what confers self-control. Oh, it doesn't. One of my mentors said, marriage only reveals you. Marriage does not change you, it only reveals you. So what happens is a revelation. No, it didn't change you. Someone said, it's the marriage that changed. The marriage doesn't change people. It only reveals them. It reveals who you have been as a bachelor. It reveals who you have been as an unmarried adult. So it doesn't change. And so you go back to the soft copy right now, define your basic values. And everybody should have this basic one. Love. And this one, you don't need to, it's not even a romantic love we're talking about. It's not about having someone you are exclusive with. It's about just showing concern for people. You are walking beside, a lady, you guys are on a queue, and you are approaching the door. Let the lady pass first. And just give that courtesy. It's love. It's just wisdom. Because if it's nothing is going to change in marriage. So if you're going to honor women, start honoring them now. I was with my wife in the bathing table, and I saw the experience a woman goes through when trying to give birth, right? And all of their lives, goes into that few moments when the baby comes out. And this woman is still the same woman some people eat. So the marriage didn't change him. It was not what the person said. Ability to eat was in the man before. It was not what the person said. No. So you can actually go back, define the values. So people say, "Oh, it was because I was in camp and I saw the girls, so they were coming around me. That was why." No, you were never standing for something. That was why you fell for anything. So as a man, define it right now. Marriage is not going to confer self-control. Marriage is not going to no. If it's going to do that, why do people do have extramarital affairs? They call them side chicks, Abi. I saw a picture today. It says side chicks is a side chick is someone between 18 and 25. Then 20 to 25 to this one is N, side N, not chick. That was funny. You know, start with the basics, guys. Love, honor women. Don't look down on any woman. Honor them. A woman is not just a woman based on look or their reproductive ability. There's so much about a woman. Honor it. Look at one of my mentors shared with me that this scripture worked so powerfully for him when he got married. He said, "He that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from God." So you want to have favor, honor women, especially your spouse. Honor them. Joy, peace, self-control. I mean, you need that. It's not this one is not even a special, it's the basic. This is even the basic we're still talking about. A basic value you should have. Every man should have self-control. I got so angry. No. How many people will you get angry with? You need to work on it now. Else you can't thrive in the other divide. Work on it now. Work on it now. Everybody's a work in progress. All marriages are just under construction. All marriages are under construction. Work on it now. Peace. Be at peace. I mean, I know people will assume that men don't keep malice and all that, but you'll be surprised some men still do. Be at peace with all men. Why? How come there's someone in your workplace you don't greet? You say, I mean, I live at peace with all men. They don't worry whether they answer or not. Greet them. Good morning. Be the first to say it. Say with a smile. Good morning. Say with a smile. All of this is all about seeds you are sowing. And then the next level of values you are defining is that you're asking yourself, what is most important to me? Respect. You find some people say respect is my personal value. Oh, honor. Oh, punctuality. Oh, whatever it is. What is important to you? And then this third level, which is the most important, the apex of defining your personal values. Note this down. This talks about what values do I need to achieve my destiny? What values do I need to achieve my destiny? As a man, you've spent time, this is where I'm heading to. What values do I need to achieve this destiny? When you do all of this, you are already standing. You've defined what you're standing for. And so someone comes, whether it's a female, gender comes, your value is already defined. So people know about your value. If it's Isaac doesn't do that. So people know it. People already know. They don't know because you are not standing for something. They don't because I hear some folks who are in school say, they will say I'm bad. In school those days, guys will say, you are a sly. You are a sly. Let them call you a sly. Because those who are standing for something are the slides in quotes. So those that don't stand for anything, they say, this is my guy. You can do anything. Help me do that one. And that was what happened between Amnon and Tamar. You know, Jonadab just came and says, this guy said to him, I feel I just want to be with a girl right now. Do something for me. Do something for me. That is why you need the right association. And then, Jonadab just say, that's small things now. Let me arrange one babe for you, right? Your sister is here now. Do something. Okay, I said, my sister. Okay, how will I do it? I said, no problem. This is what I'm going to arrange it for you. And that guy walked this other guy into destruction. After he was done mating with his sister, guess what happened? He hated her immediately. Get out from here! And she started crying. So people think love is sex. Totally not. The movies are spreaded to us that make love to me. And so when they say make love, they're talking about sex. That's totally wrong. This is amazing. So how do I position to meet my life partner on my journey? Let me share this picture. I'll share this screen quickly. This might help. How do I position to identify my soulmate? Now look at this quickly. It's a journey. I shared this picture earlier on. So as you start going on your journey, heading on your journey, what's going to happen is that you're going to meet different people at the bus stop. I love automobile industry and the transport sector so much just because of this principle I learned from it. So you have a pilot of a vehicle, and then you also have an assistant, and this assistant yells out the destination. And so this assistant says, oh, he mentions the destination. Oh, he says, well, we're going to Ikeja. For example, in Nigeria, we have a location in Lagos State called Ikeja. And he says, oh, Ikeja, Ikeja, Ikeja. He's yelling out that destination. There are hundreds of people at the bus stop. But only those who are going in that similar destination come into the vehicle. And then they go into the back seat. They are going. They get to the next bus stop. He yells it out again. They still have more seats in the bus. Ikeja, Ikeja. Those who are going to Ikeja enroll into the bus. Guess what's happening? You, as the driver in your vehicle, you have known where you are going to in life. You are on that journey. You are driving. You are driving. As you are driving, you are building social capital. You are building social networks of people. But the networks of people you are building are not just guys on for fun. And not just guys you go with. Okay, how this weekend go be now? Let's just go see a movie. Or let's just go drink. No, that's not the kind of friends you are building. The kind of social capital you need are those persons who are going in a similar destination like you are going to. And so you get to the bus stop as you're driving. The bus stop could be an event, it could be a conference, it could be like a webinar we're on, it could be anywhere. And then you meet someone, he says, oh, who are you? Oh, say, well, nice to meet you. My name is Isaac. Oh, what do you do, Isaac? Oh, well, I'm on a mission to raising young people and molding minds, right? I do this through education and youth and safe spaces. We build development centers for young people. And then, we renew the mindset and work on the curriculum through formal, non-formal education. Guess what happened? Over 12,000 people have been impacted by this. We do this through life skill education. We do this through XYZ. Guess what? Guys say, oh, tell me more about that. You could even be a lady you're conversing with, male or female. As you begin to tell them about your destination, just like the assistant will be yelling out the destination on the bus, guys will be coming to your vehicle. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. I also do something around that. We work with children who are immigrants, new immigrants who in our city, and we help them acclimatize with this. We help them know how to do X, Y, Z. Oh well, okay, can I get your contact? Okay, you can connect with me. Yes, my LinkedIn profile. Oh, okay, great. I'll follow you right now. Okay, how can I also? And guess what? You start a network that way. All you did was to yell out your destination, and the people who were in line with that destination came into the bus. So it's not even just about a complimentary card you are shoving into the hands of people. It's just about you yelling out your destination. You don't even need to say it to yell it. On all of your social media, your media platforms, all of your online real estate, communicate your destination. I know you are on this job. I know you are on this job title. But beyond the job title, communicate the destination. Because the right persons on your bus, male and female, are going to come based on that destination. The person that is not going to Ikeja will not enter the bus. And they don't even necessarily have to be going to the exact location, but are going to a similar destination. So some people are going to alight at Okwebi, some are going to alight at Allen, some are going to alight at Underbridge, some are going to alight at Radio House, some are going to alight at ShopRite. It's still the similar axis, but they came into the bus because they are going to a similar destination. So you need to yell out enough to people on your website, on your media pages, on your bios, on your profile. Yell out where you're going to as a man. The lady is looking at is looking at that as well. Other men are looking at that as well. And guess what is going to happen? As you keep driving on this journey, all the guys are in front, or all the guys are in the back seat. A time will come that one of those people in the back seat will now come out of that back seat and come and enter into the seat beside the driver's seat to join you as you drive along. That person who is going to sit beside you in front will be your soulmate. That's your life partner. The spouse that God has prepared to complement, to partner with you, and to help you. But how will the person know what help to give if you have not given a direction? So your leadership does not start when you get married as a man. Your leadership starts from now. So if you are going to live and cleave, you are living not just because you have gotten an apartment. You are living not just because you have gotten a job. You are living not because you have a steady income. You are living because you have found a destination and you are going to cleave because of these things, because of this direction. One of those people on the back seat. And so I used to say this, that you don't even need dating. Dating is, two things are wrong about dating. Number one is that dating is an uncertain adventure. Let's say how it goes. Let's just go out. Can we go out? Can I just want to ask you out? Ask you, okay, where are we going to? Ask out to where? Let's just be close. Let's just be talking. Let's just be chatting. Just be my close friend. For what? Why? So as a guy, you are very conscious of how you go about it. And this is simple. Watch me. Watch this closely. So as a guy, all you need to do is friendship. The second thing that is wrong with dating is that dating makes somebody unnecessarily exclusive to you. And that blinds other people from coming near you. Because people see that, oh, sorry, okay, these two people, they're already together. I tell some guys and some ladies sometimes, you look at their fingers, they have put different kinds of rings. They say, this one my mom gave me, this one is for, you don't need all of that. A ring is not just an accessory. A ring is an identity. It's an identity of commitment. So the best ring to wear is your band, your wedding band, saying, I'm committed to somebody. Sometimes I just want to make them feel like I have a babe. No, you don't need that. You don't need that, right? You don't need that. So dating dating is wrong on those two premises. And like I always share to people, when you are exclusive with a person, you hinder yourself from building quality network with other people. All you need to is to build friendship. Some will be as acquaintance, some will be as casual, some will be close friends. But however, only your spouse that you get married to is meant to be an intimate friend with you. And so you are meant to build boundaries. Not everybody you chat with every day. Not everybody you call every day. Not everybody you send your picture to every day. Not everybody. Some people have made this mistake. Somebody that should be an acquaintance is intimate and they're not married yet. And so it becomes a soul tie. And so every single now and then they are thinking about the person. All because they mistook the communication and took it at a higher level than it should be. You can actually control that from today. All you need to do is stifle the communication. Yeah. You don't need to shout and say you should do it. No, there's only for all that. Do it cleanly, in a clean way. Just stifle the communication, right? And I love today's media approach because there's no everything is all plain out. You can put a person in the general, you can put a person in primary, you can reduce communication, you can block another one, there are many things. Just communicate to the person that, oh, well, I didn't know that we've been doing this. Let's just be friends, not necessarily exclusive to one another. You can, and just do it in a very polite way. You don't need to be insulting to anybody or abusive to anybody, because it's going to meet the person in your journey over on in life. What I do most times, I meet ladies those days, is that they were just my friends, and so they were just casual friends, and so I just had few close friends. Even till today, I just have about few close friends, and then I just begin to ask them, because I say, if you are going to be my friend, I should know your values. So I begin to study you, right? I begin to study you, whether you're a male friend or a female friend, a male or a casual female friend. I begin to study you. So, okay, so tell me, I'm going to ask you some questions. So, because that's actually how you know somebody. There's a difference between meeting somebody and knowing somebody. You can't meet somebody on the first day and ask the person to marry you. You can't ask a stranger to marry you. You need to grow to knowing the person, right? And so, it's not just about collecting the number, and then you start bugging the person. No, right? It's just about building the knowing. So the knowing starts gradually. And that way will help you know, where should I put this person? Should this person just be an acquaintance? Hi, good morning, hello, hello. Or should this person be someone I see frequently, a casual friend? Would this person be a close friend? If not, let the person just remain as a casual friend. We see on Sundays in church, no problem. Good. I don't need to take it further than that. But if I find that our values, we share similar values, we share similar aspirations in life, then perhaps the person can be a close friend. I find that we are mutually beneficial to one another. This person is making me grow, not making me deplete, right? And this person is adding to my journey. Then okay, so fantastic. And then that way I'm able to study about the person, whether the person is male or female. Okay, I'm able to study about, what do you do? So I ask the ladies and I say, okay, so tell me. And I remember I asked one lady one time, I said, can you marry a pastor? Say, oh no, I cannot marry a pastor. Oh, okay, okay, no problem. It's fine. I mean, I understand. So I asked another lady one time because it's the same question I ask anybody. I was not exclusive to anybody, so you don't need to be exclusive to one person. You can actually leap from friendship to courtship. So just be friends without any string attached. So just be friends with everybody and just you meet somebody and you're asking, so where are you going to in life? What's your vision in life? And you say, well, I don't even know. I just want to get a job. So then you can add a value to the person and say, but BC, life is not just about a job. Yes, you're going to get a job, but why do you want to get a job? Your purpose gives meaning to the job. It gives you mission to the job. And so that will help you to be more fulfilled in life than just the job. And so tell me about that. I don't know why I've been using Isaac so much in my story this evening. Isaac, is it you? And Isaac says, well, BC, I've never heard of that before. Thank you for sharing, Isaac. So how do I know about this? And Isaac says, oh, well, this is what you can do. I have a book I can give to you. And Isaac gives her the book. And, I remember I gave my wife one of my books, my first edition of my book, The Clarity, and she read the book. She said she found clarity of purpose from reading the book. Wow. So from inside my purpose, other people can find the life purposes. That was humbling. Guess what is happening? I did a full study on that, in my audio book, the in betweens. And all you are doing is that you are investing into other people as friends. You are investing into them, investing into them, investing into them. And so even when it happens that you now sense that, oh, this person, I'm more connected to this person. Oh, yes, I know I like this person, but I'm more connected to this person. Beyond the chemistry, because chemistry is in the laboratory. I like the way Tim Fago puts it. He says chemistry is just, soon your relationship will leave the laboratory. So you can't base your relationship on chemistry alone. Chemistry can start, but beyond chemistry, what sustains? So as a guy, you meet 50 people today. You like their dress. That's good. As a guy, you can like things. Oh, I like your dressing. You can even compliment them, but be conscious on how you do it. But beyond that, you are connected to this person beyond just the like. Even a year after, you're still connected. You saw her 1 year ago in a conference. You were still connected. There's something more beyond that. And then you try to get closer to this person, right? Then you're asking the person, you're trying to build a knowing relationship. You don't need to be exclusive. The same question you can ask the person, you can ask just any other person. There's no need for exclusivity. When you are clear about all of that, you have the connection, you have the word from God, you have all of that in between. You can simply now paint the picture to the person. I remember that day. It was a democracy day. Some years back, democracy day, and I was just with my spouse then, and I was just telling to her that was the day. So Nigeria was deciding their own stuff. I was deciding my own. So I was discussing to her, this is where I'm going to. The first time I met you at that seminar, you caught my attention. But beyond that, 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, I've grown to know you to be this person. I was just painting to her the picture of everything I've seen so far in the journey. And you've also shared with me about your vision, about I like your attitude, I like your spirit, I like all of these things about you. And will you join me? Will you join me on this on my journey? Can we build a home together as we fulfill God's purpose together? That's what you don't even need a ring to say that. So some men are pressured that until you have a ring and you go on one knee, if you like it, no problem. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not necessary. It's not a must. What you need is your mouth. You say with your words. And then I simply said those words and said, well, she appreciated me for it. And she said, okay, she's gonna pray about it. Even if she had a weakness in her spirit, it was still good she did that. And of course, so I was thinking she was going to get back to me on my birthday. My birthday, and like I shared, June 4th. That was May 29th. So I was thinking she was going to give me feedback, but that was not the case. I thought it was going to be a birthday gift. Second week, nothing. Third week, no answer. Fourth week, just close to the end of the month, she gave me a yes. When you say that, when a female gives you a yes, then your relationship moves not just from close friendship, it now moves into courtship. The beginning of the yes is the beginning of courtship. Now you can now begin to, plan about your home, see appearance, see, the figures about our life, our ministers, and all of that, right? That is when you now begin to plan about your home. And in your home, so two people who have been growing, two people who have been developing themselves, they come together to form an overflow. So it's not about I need you, I want you to fill me up. You are the honey in my tea. Without you, I'm empty. And then you will remain empty. Right? So you don't need all those lines. I know when we were in high school, that was the line we were using, but that's not needed as a man now. As a man, you are painting a picture of a journey that this person is going to come with you as a partner on that journey. I always love when I'm driving with my spouse, my wife. She's with me, and the journey is always sweet, right? She even knows more routes than I do, so I'm always sure I can't miss the way. That's what you need, a partner who will come along with you on the journey, who will complement you, right? And so society have always painted the picture that, oh, when you marry, you guys will be, you'll be having sex every day, you will be, but that's not true. That was Nollywood, that was Hollywood, and that's why you even need to stop much of watching, seeing movies like that, because they're painting the wrong education to you, and it's subconsciously affecting your outcome without knowing, right? You know, and then you when you get to the reality, you find out that actually a time will come, your wife will tell you, I'm tired, can we just rest? Okay, how about tomorrow? You yourself, you will tell her that, can we just rest? Because it's not going to be it's not going to be what they are painting. It will have to even be something you are planning on your time, because it's not, as it has to be now by responsibility. And then the time comes also whereby you ask yourself, okay, so what do we do all of that days? I thought it was only sex we're going to be having. So you find that in all of that days, the focus of your home is about the journey. The journey. You guys are bringing ideas together. You are putting your resources together. You are adding to the humanity. You are adding to the kingdom. You are adding to the global economy about your journey. So it was not even about, God just gives an opportunity that, okay, while you both fulfill this purpose together, because the purpose of your wife plus your own purpose gives your family a joint mission, gives your family a joint purpose. So your family is not just here to add to the population of the world. No. Your family, yes, God will birth great generation through your home, but that's not the only thing. As you fulfill your purposes together, God gives an opportunity to raise the next generation and raise godly seeds. That's why you have to be the present husband at home, right? So your wife is not a slave. Your wife is not going to be, the one. Society, you need to start dropping those negative, ideologies of society. Oh, I saw my wife, my mommy was always sweeping the house, my mommy and my dad, no, you have to form your own mindset right now, forming in line with wood initiated marriage itself, so you don't take the wrong baggage in, right? And you need to start this education even on time. Most times, even people get late before they even start it. You can imagine two people coming from different background, different philosophy, different mindset, and you just think in 3 months you will have the same mindset. That's not possible. You need to start it ahead of time. You need to start it ahead of time, right? And as God begins to help you, is renew your mindset. But you must be teachable. Don't worry about ego. Drop all of that. Be teachable, right? Be correctable. Be humble to learn, right? You must share this mindset together with your spouse. This is amazing. I need to pick the last set of questions as we wrap this up, right? I want to appreciate you. You guys have been amazing. Has this been helpful for you? Let me know in the chat box. If this has been helpful for you, please put in there helpful. Let me know. I'm going to go to the chat and read the chat. Let me know if this has been helpful for you. And I'm just going to take the balance of question and we're wrapping this off in the next few minutes, right? Has this been helpful? Let me know. Put in the chat if this has been helpful. Thank you, Toby, for that. This has been helpful. Let me know who else has this been very helpful to you. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Samuel. Very helpful. Amazing. Who else has this been helpful to? Let me know. Give me feedback. Let me know. Super helpful. Thank you, Daniel, for that. Now, I need to mention this. Let me mention this quickly before we're out. Now, so as a man, be in motion. Be in motion about where you're heading to. Don't. A time came whereby I was just so bored that it was like pressure. Every time I go to a place, I'm looking at. Could this be my wife? This girl. I was just disturbing my life. A time when I took the focus away from myself, I was not even planning. The day I saw, I was not even the day I actually not even saw. Take the focus away from you. Take the pressure away from you. I used to say to people that, yes, there's no pressure, but there's urgency. There's no pressure, but there's urgency. Urgency in the sense that life is in seasons. So as a man, you have the morning season, the M season, you have the afternoon season, and you have the night season. The morning season is when you clarify your destiny, your destination. You start moving about it. You start equipping yourself with the right knowledge, education, the right ability, right academics. You start doing all of that. But the afternoon season is where you need to go on the, as I say, in need for speed. Take the nitro, boom, move and move with speed. In the afternoon season, you need to now go with your partner and move with speed, right? Chase 10,000, put 10,000 to fly. You need to now move with top speed. So the afternoon season is mostly when you need this. But the time of the afternoon season, we don't know. You will know the time. Someone said to me one time, sent me a mail, how do I know the exact time I need to start a relationship? And this was my answer to her. I'm going to read it out as the response I gave to her. I said, there is no exact time. That's a shock. I said to her, there was no, she was even a lady. And this is same for a man as well. I said, there's no exact time. Because you take the pressure away. Just be about your destination. Be about your values. Build good networks with people. Be a good friend. If that must have friends, must be friendly. Just be friendly. Don't take long faces everywhere you are going. You are the man of the tribe of where Judah or where. Be a man. A man who is a human. You understand? You can empathize with people, right? You see a woman struggling, try to help her. Or someone is give the help. So I said to her, exactness is relative based on your readiness and preparation. So yes, I know in the afternoon season is when you need to go on nitro, but that time, there's a time to be born, a time to get married, a time to this. That time is going to be based on your readiness and preparation. And I gave her 10 questions, and I'm going to give these 10 questions right now. Write them down. If you are able to answer these 10 questions, then you are actually ready. Number one, who am I? Finalize your identity. Who am I? Who am I as a guy? Am I just, this guy with body build, six packs, you know, is that all to me? That's not. Who am I? Define your identity as a man. Oh, I'm a king, right? I'm a king meant to give leadership, and I'm a king, and I'm not meant to rule over people, but to rule over the earth, to rule in my sphere of influence, to rule in my destination. That's where my influence is, not to rule over a woman or rule over people. I'm not meant to rule over fellow humans. Define your identity. When you do, go to the next one. Why am I on earth? Why are you on earth talks about the destination we've talked about, right? Why am I on earth? Three is that ask yourself, what are my personal values? Like I shared earlier on. What are those values I've now defined based on your responses to the questions I asked earlier on? What are now my personal values? Write them down. Number what are we now? Number what? Number what are we? Who is taking note? Number what are we? Number four. Thank you for that. Number four. What is the purpose of marriage? What is the purpose of marriage? You need to define this yourself. So I'm not just in a relationship because I'm in a relationship sake. Yes, the urges are there. The urges simply means that your organ is growing well. It means everything is perfect. That's why the urge is there. The urge didn't say you should go to a club this night and sleep with somebody. That's not what the urge is. God simply put that urge there to say that you are growing. The organ is okay. Everything is perfect. So you see everything is strong. Oh, it's going well. You're a man. Yeah. But it's not now. Don't arouse love until it's ripe. What is the purpose of marriage? Oh, well, I just thought, oh, well, my colleagues are getting married, and my mom has been telling me, when are you bringing the woman? So, is that the purpose of marriage? That's a wrong purpose. Going with the wrong purpose is going to lead to an abuse. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. What is the purpose of marriage? This is in line with the next point, number 5. Who instituted marriage? Marriage is not a societal, invention or an invention of friends or parents. No. If God instituted marriage, what is the purpose of marriage? Oh, complementation. Oh, partnership. Oh, togetherness. Oh, so I was sharing with the women yesterday that they need to help us as men. As a spouse, when you're married, you're meant to help your woman. When you're meant to help your man, I give them the areas to help, men, their husbands, right? They could even help with meeting your sexual needs. They help in meeting your, mental needs. They help in meeting. They have a whole lot of help to give. But the point is, you need to have a right perspective to marriage first, right? Number 6 right now. Why should I be married? Why should I be married? You need to have the right mindset to that as well. Why should I be married? I'm 35, so I should be married. Oh, I mean, I'm this. No, it's not just about that. Whether you're married at 25 or you're married at 21 or you're married at 27 or 35 or 40, it's about the exactness is based on your readiness to these questions we're talking about. Number 7, what will be the purpose of my marriage? So, you may not have the full answer to this question right now because until your spouse's purpose is added to yours before you define the purpose of your own. But then you ask yourself, you define the one you have found. This is your own destination. What is the purpose of your marriage? When your spouse comes, you're going to add that to it. Number 8, if God created, this number 8 is actually for the women. But what I shared to her was that if God created me as a helpmeet, what am I to help my spouse with? So I was sharing that, with her in respect as a woman. But you ask yourself, what help would my wife give to me? If you know that, guys, guess what? You can actually identify your spouse tomorrow. I mean, you're just conscious of the help that your spouse is going to give to you. So when she's communicating, you guys are, talking. You're talking with this friend, and this friend is saying this. This person is saying this help I need. God, could this be the person? Could this be the person? And number 7, number 9 right now. I'm almost done. I'm going to share some resources for us as well that will be of help. So if you can't, still stay along and don't miss this, right? It's one of I'm sacrificing this time. I should be my family time now, but I'm sacrificing this time, right? Number 8 right now. Number 9 right now. Why do I want to be in a relationship now? Why do I want to be in a relationship now? Oh, other guys are going out with their babes. They are posting the pictures. They are, why? Is that the reason? That's the reason. That's wrong. Number 10. Will this relationship lead to courtship and marriage? Will this relationship lead to courtship and marriage? If it's not, then what are we doing? Well, it's not about fun. You can't play with the emotions and social being of people. No. If you have positive answers to this question, you are ready. Whether you are ready at 25 or 27 or 35 or 40, whichever time, you determine the time. Right? You determine the time. So one other question someone said is, what practical steps can be taken to tame the appetite for food, money, and sex? Now, the simple thing about this is simple. The simple answer I'm going to give to this is that yes, I've shared that a bit along the line with several things I've shared. So appetite for food, appetite for money, appetite for sex. I've shared that about understanding your manhood. But the part I want to add to it is this. So I found a scripture that really I never understood it until I was married. So he said the two were naked and were not ashamed. Mind you, scripture was emphatic on the two he was referring to. He said the man and his wife. He didn't say the man and the man. He didn't say the woman and the woman or and all of this stuff. He said the man and the woman, the wife, they were naked, yet they were not ashamed. Guess what? Marriage is the only haven where the sexual fire will not burn. Any other thing outside of marriage will burn, will burn, will burn. Have you not seen people, even if it's 2 minutes, they're embarrassed, they're ashamed. So why waste 2 minutes of a typical fun when you can have it for life, when you will not be ashamed? I never understood the scripture. Wow, so two people can actually be naked and not be embarrassed. That can only happen in marriage. That can only happen in marriage. That can only happen in marriage. And so build the boundaries, right? Right? And you can't just meet with anybody. I see some guys, they are hugging every girl, hugging every lady. You can't, as a man, that is not maturity. In those days, in college, they call it a tapping current, and then they hug this girl for 2 minutes. That doesn't make wise, wise decision as a man. As a man, you are building boundaries that, okay, I don't want to go bound these boundaries, so I can actually give you a shake or I give you a side hug. I don't need to give you a full body hug. It's not necessary. I know it's a fad, but your sanity is better. And you must discipline that aspect as well. Right? You must discipline that aspect as well. This is amazing. So let me just show you. These are some resources I like to share. This will be of help. It will cascade what we have just shared. One of them is a movie. And this movie, look at it. Many of you might have seen this movie, but write these movies down. It's called Benny. This is a movie by the Mount Zion, and I learned so many lessons from it, and I just thought to recommend it to you. What this materials I'm recommending will do is that it will keep you wet. I've done is trying to sprinkle the water to you. But if you don't want them to get dried, you need to remain wet. This is what you can do. There's another one called Not an Orphan. You can take a screen grab. The third one is Death in the Pot. If you have not seen them, or if you have seen them, go see them again with this new perspective you have had today. And then this is on my audio book, The In Between. You will find it very valuable. Starting a new home. If you're in courtship, about to get into marriage, solemnization, you need to get this one. We are out of hard copy, but you can still get the electronic book of it. Starting a new home, and of course, Fellows in the Ship, newest, making great impact. How you can start a friendship that will lead to courtship without shipwreck. That will be of great help. You can get all of this on my website, abrahamowosheni.com. You see the menu for shop. You can get them as well, right? This is another one. This is actually the free guide. You see it as well on my website, Life Harmony Blueprint. If you're finding it difficult to actually define where you're heading to as a man, start from here. This blueprint will help you to see how you can build harmony on those areas and those sectors of life I talked about, right? And of course, Values of a Father. This is an ebook as well. If you want to master fatherhood, you are married, but you want to master fatherhood. Fatherhood is different from husband. It's different from that you are a husband doesn't necessarily make you a father. That you have now had a child doesn't make you a fatherhood is much more than that. You love to get that one, right? And so these materials will be of great help to you. I'm glad, and I want to celebrate everyone who has come on this call. Feel free to reach out, send me a DM. You can send me a mail, connect. Let's keep it going, right? Try to say any of these resources you can get. If you can't get all, get one, get two. Make sure you just keep yourself entrenched into it. And I'd love to also get your feedback from the experience you've had today. Just go to my website, abrahamowosheni.com/feedback, and this will be great. Let me know how this has been of help to you. Let's put in the chat. This has been of great help. Wow. We can go on and on and on, but we have to call it off. We have to call it off. This has been of great help. Great help. I can see the chat box buzzing. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who has stayed to this time. So please, I've just dropped the link on the chat. I also put in the group. Share me your feedback from this session, and it will be great. I want to thank you once again for coming on board. Let me pray with you as we go. Father, in the name of Jesus, I commit all men who are listening to me right now into your hands. Lord, help us to be the best husbands, to be the best fathers that you have called us to be. Give us the wisdom, the grace of the leadership that you have called us to, the grace of the foresighting you have called us to. Help us to be the best role models to our homes, to our spouses, to the world, to the kingdom, and the nation. We give the praise because you have done this. In Jesus' name. And the people say, Amen. Thank you, everybody. I'll catch you. Keep being an amazing man, a mission-driven man. Love to you. Bye.
You have gained insights and strategies to live life purposefully. Now is the time to take actions in the direction of your learnings. For more products, bookings, and inquiries, please visit www.abrahamowosheni.com.